Namaskar. Did the Canadian government give the green light to these KS, motley thugs, two-bit thugs, to attack the Hindus? From what I'm hearing, horrible signs in the Hindu Sabha temple. What had happened yesterday was that these people were threatening all the refugees, all the people who had come to pray to step on the Indian flag. And when somebody refused, they were abusing them. And this is just not on. You want to protest, you have to do it from a respectful distance. And I question why the Peel police. Peel is an area that bounds three counties or three cities in and around the greater Toronto area. I have listed all that in the description of this video, so you can take a look at it. The Peel County Chief, himself a Sri Lankan Canadian, and I think it sounds like a Hindu name, he should be able to figure out that these are sensitive matters, that you have to handle it in a much more sensitive manner, because everything points to every blame being placed at the door of the Hindus, when in fact they are the ones who are the victims here. Where did this happen before? Leicester, United Kingdom. Where else? All over India. These things are happening not just there, but looks like the Hindus are the favorite punching bag of every motley assemblage that wants to take pot shots at India. India is equal to therefore Hindus. This is what it means. That means Justin Trudeau and all the other politicians who are keeping quiet about naming the Khalistani separatists for what they are, two-bit thugs, they all are recognizing that India is a Hindu Rashtra. Okay, so they don't have to say it in so many words. It is a Hindu Rashtra. Any one of you who have a problem with this, you are all Sanatanis at heart. You may have a different religion. Understand the difference between the two. Why is it that the Bangladesh Muslim ladies wear bindi? Why is it that the Christian women in India wear toe rings? Why is it that churches in South India, some of them, have a Dvajastambha? Understand this. Everything is aimed at creating splits. You have a good for nothing family scion who believes it is his entitlement to become the prime minister in India, jaunting in various trips. God knows what kind of orgies he participates himself in. Nobody wants to say anything about all his other extracurricular activities, including a missing woman from a Congress party leader's family. So all this is happening. All it is to sow seeds of discord in this largely peaceful population of India. And unfortunately, the Hindus in Canada today are at the receiving end. By the way, retribution is not far away. Just not going to tell you how it's going to be. You will feel it. By the way, I'm going to show you a small slide deck that captures what happened in the last 12 to 14 hours. Events have been moving fast. Yesterday, when I had, for early morning for you in India, where I had left it was that there was an assemblage in the Hindu Sabha temple, and all the organizations were represented there, and they decided to take out a march. Guess what happened after that? I had brought in Dr. Ragini Sharma and talked about the arms and things like that. Now I'm going to share with you a slide deck and a few videos that shows what the truth is. I mean, if the truth is going to come and hit them in the face, surely the Peel police will understand what's going on. More importantly, Trudeau needs to come out ahead of the story. In India, News 18 has published a very detailed story that this whole thing is at the instigation of the Canadian government. Is the Canadian government acting on its own, or is it instigation from some other Five Eyes partner? It's time the Canadian government fess up to what they did. We are not going to keep quiet. I know I'm talking about this from United States, and I have a strong suspicion it is the United States that is doing all this, because you have two-bit thugs here too. We have gurudwaras, and we have law-abiding Sikhs, and we have these disgruntled elements imported from God knows where. A lot of other hanky-panky is also happening. I'll tell you about it in just one moment. I hope you all are liking this video, because You're not going to get this concise a summary in such a short period of time anywhere else. So let's take a look at the slide deck. Next slide, please. So this is the message put out by the Peel Police. What is wrong with it? The Peel Regional Police order is being deployed at a demonstration on the Gore Road near Thailand Avenue. I told you, right? After the assemblage was over, they marched. They had a protest march, and where it was intended, I think it was probably to the either the city hall, where the police also will be having some presence, which is like headquarters of police, and somewhere there they have said that they found arms being carried by Hindus. 1,000 to 2,000 Hindus are walking peacefully, and they know that just 12 hours before that, the Khalistani separatists have attacked them with not flagpoles but sharp objects. Let us call it for what it is. People have got bruise marks, and they got arrested also. So this is a very one-way look at the law, and I don't know what kind of food you guys eat. Really, those who are in the law enforcement, I don't know what kind of food you guys eat. Are you blind? Can't you see what was going on? I have tapes here. Okay, I have videos. If I have it, if you guys are very took at it as a law and order issue, you will get copious amounts of evidence. Arrest of 2 people. There were at least 20 thugs that I saw. At least 20. Just 2 are arrested. What was the fault of the Hindu boy Vikas? Why did you arrest him? Anyway, so here is a neutral observer, who has sent his brother to watch what was happening at a congregation nearby Gurudwara called Malton Gurudwara. There, the KS group was waiting with swords and sticks. See, you have 2,000 people, and you are calling them off, saying that they are carrying arms. Did you even bother to look at Malton Gurudwara? You want to see the video? Can we have the video, please? So this is Media Bezargan, and I thank Media Bezargan. The link for that is available in the references section. I encourage all of you to go through these reference section links, because the idea is to factually report what is seen on the ground. Nobody is making anything up. You have to look at it, and in fact, this is useful for even those who are going to act on this after the fact. You need data in a single place so that you can act on it. Okay, so this has been proved independently that the group that was carrying swords and sticks were not told to disperse. It's the other side which is protesting against these lumpens that is asked to disperse. Yeah, you may think that, oh, we don't have enough police force to manage should a brawl break out. But why did you allow things to come up to this point? Why did you not arrest the entire lot when they attacked Hindu worshippers? The police has to answer this question. What kind of incompetent nincompoop are you? I know your government is that. So are you basically mirroring how your liberal-led government is at the county level, at the city level? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I'm really aghast at something which is a black and white matter. Law and order is the same for everyone. I'm sure the Canadians are wondering what the heck is going on here. Who's attacking whom? And then there are some lumpens, paid lumpens, and who will pay professional prostitutes in terms of like professional prostitutes, I must say. Professional prostitutes who will say anything. They'll say anything to just try and create a suspicion amongst the community, which is actually the victim here. I'm not going to name them, because why give them free publicity? You guys will know. I have Now, this is the fourth or the fifth video that we have captured thus far in the last 24 hours about Canada. And you can go through it. Please go through the reference links and you'll understand how this has been organized. There's a lot of evidence here presented that tells you that this is premeditated. How did it all start? That rascal, loudmouth, Pannu, says 2-3 days ago that Hindus will not be allowed to celebrate Deepavali. They will not be allowed to go to their mandirs. They will not be allowed to burst crackers. I showed this video, I think, yesterday in an event with Sumit Peer. You guys must have seen it. He is the chief instigator. And because he said that he works closely with the Trudeau government, therefore the Trudeau government knows what is going on. I mean, I am proving it to you that the government knew what was going on. I don't know why, you guys are still allowing this government to be in power. These are dangerous elements. He still has not explained why his plane was withheld after the G20 meeting for 72 hours in Delhi. What the heck was on that? Justin Trudeau, what the heck was on that plane? Anyway, that's a different matter. Let's go on to the next slide, please. So this is the list of arrests made in the protests in Brampton and Mississauga, and you can see that one Vikas, a 23-year-old, has been charged with assault with a weapon. Look, 20 people, all with sharp pointed spears that look like actually flag masts, flag posts, attack you. Somebody found something in his car. These people did not come prepared to do all this stuff. They came because Diwali is one day that most of the people, most Hindus, go to temple. So this is all very carefully orchestrated. And shame on all the Hindus who are working in the government and preferring to keep mum. This is just not on. Everyone in Canada has the freedom of practicing their religion. No ifs, no buts. There is nothing here that says that these people are congregating for some sort of a evil mind task or anything like that. This is where the Hindus are going to start showing their strength, and this is going to shock many of you. I'm also going to show you, I don't know if we have that video. Yesterday, Sachin, you have shown me that video. You can pull it up. Yesterday, see, we showed you the consular offices helping out with people who wanted proof of life certificate, because this is the month of November. You need to provide that in order to get continued pension. So we showed you scenes from what happened in the Hindu Sabha temple. We also have similar scenes of people being helped with their paperwork in Surrey in British Columbia. See, this is where the problem is. They are saying that the majority of the Sikhs in Canada don't want to side with the Khalistanis. Can we pull up that video, please? Yesterday you showed it to me, Sachin. It's on WhatsApp timeline. You can pull it up if you don't mind. There you go. There you go. This is in that temple, Lakshmi Narayan Mandir, where the Indian consulate officers are helping out with the paperwork. Tell me how many people are there and how many are Sikhs? Many have served Bharat with honor and distinction. Now they have chosen a life of retirement in Canada, and they assembled to finish all the formalities. This is what the case don't like. This is what the Pannu, the English-speaking punk, doesn't like, because they are seeing the the ground slipped from underneath their feet. And the accessory here, it appears to be the Canadian government. The Canadian government needs to come out strongly. You have to rebut what the Indian news site is claiming. And if you don't, that means that you are complicit. And if you are not complicit, pray explain why the Peel and also Surrey police was even more brutal in their attacks. We saw videos of the police officers go and seek out one or two protesters, and so what if he made some statement? So what if he called you personal threat? You are used to this. You are supposed to be listening to all this stuff. That's what you are trained for as a police. When you say freedom of speech is there for everyone, that means everyone, in bold, underlined. Get this in your thick heads. So what is going to happen? Where will the average Canadian Hindu, where will the average Canadian Hindu get respite, justice? See here, go to the next slide, please. So this is the gist of that article. A Hindu temple in Brampton was reportedly targeted by Khalistani supporters in a pre-planned assault. Did Trudeau give the green signal for Canada's temple attack? Indian intelligence sources claim the attack had a green signal from the Trudeau government, labeling it state-sponsored. Social media videos display men with Khalist. This I've shown you. You have seen the flags assaulting individuals with sticks outside the Hindu Sabha Mandir. You've seen this thing. Allegedly aimed at making minorities feel insecure. See, this goes back to that thing that I told you about. That majority of Sikhs are not approving this, but they are unable to say it out loudly because these lumpens appears like they have captured a sizable number of gurudwaras. This has been a problem going on for a few decades. It's not something new. This combined with the drug bust, that video I put out in the morning today, this basically means that even the funding sources are getting squeezed. And there's another development that has come. I'll talk about that after I finish this slide deck. Next slide, please. Eyewitnesses report that the RCMP, great sounding name, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, attacked Hindu worshippers on temple grounds with video showing an officer using force. The incident triggered a large Hindu protest outside the temple. Indian sources accuse Trudeau of being a mute spectator, likening Canada's situation to that of Pakistan in terms of safety for minorities. India questions Trudeau's reluctance to extradite a key suspect wanted by Indian authorities. This is, of course, Pannu, among other people. There are 26 or 25, something like that, 20 plus, let's put it that way. I mean, sometimes I get irritated when one of you catch me and saying, oh, it is not 25, it is 23. Listen, it's the big picture that you need to get a hold of, not the minor details. Sometimes the same guy could be accused of 2 or 3 crimes. Then how do you count it, right? The Trudeau condemns the recent temple attack as unacceptable, yet still supports extremist groups for political survival. There's only one senior politician that I know of who has named these Khalistani separatists by name. And it is not the Conservative Party. It is not the Liberal Party. It is definitely not the NDP. It is the People's Party of Canada. I'll come on that in just 1 second. I hope you guys are liking this video because the viewership is not as high as I expected it to be. This is the first or the only site which is giving you an independent description of what is playing out in Canada in the last 48 hours. Trudeau admits reliance on intelligence rather than concrete proof regarding India's alleged involvement in Niger's killing, sparking backlash. Indian intel claims Khalistani sympathizers have misled Trudeau, damaging Indo-Canadian relations. See, this is all their own statements. India doesn't have to lift its little finger. Pannu himself has stated that he is advising the Trudeau government for the past 3 years. Some MPs within Trudeau party urged his resignation to repair diplomatic fallout. This guy is not going to go out. He is finished. He is going to be taken out kicking and screaming. He has to be frog marched out of the Canadian Parliament. He's not going to go out so easily. The guy doesn't have any other occupation worth naming. And he has a lot of questions to answer. Now, this is the independent source called, his name is Berzigan Moka. He says that after reports of Sikhs at Guru Malton Gurdwara waiting with swords and sticks, I sent my brother to confirm from a safe distance. He corroborated the video that emerged from the Gurdwara adding that he saw men with iron rods, swords, and a large police presence. Police now declared the Hindu gathering unlawful. You're playing numbers here, aren't you? There are only 25, 30 motley elements, and there are 2,000 protesters peacefully marching. So instead of telling the 25 to shut up and shove it and go, the 2,000 are marching orderly. So you go and tell the 2,000 to disperse, that it's an unlawful assembly and that you have seen arms. Can you show any video that shows the arms? I'm curious. And even if they did carry arms, you're not defending them. What recourse do they have? I'm asking you this question. The chief of police, Peel, and the mayor of Brampton. If you are not going to give the protection, who are they going to rely on to protect themselves? This is not easy. This is not going to go down well for all these secular buggers. I'm telling you. Next one, please. Maxime Bernier is the only one who has called out the Khalistani Sikhs, and this is the one shining exception in this litany of politicians that represent Canada, that none of them dare to even mention these people by name. They all condemn the incident, but you are also instigating the incident. It is like rocking the cradle and pinching the baby. So, I mean, what are you trying to prove, Trudeau? You are an incompetent nincompoop. It has been proven many, many times over. Why the F don't you resign and let somebody else lead your party? Maybe you have a better future. I'm not saying at this point of time that the Conservative Party is doing any better. But be that as it may, the Hindus of Canada, they don't have a lot of political leadership. They need to start organizing themselves and become a political force and become a vocal representative of their interests to make sure that anything like this never, ever happens. This is the only recourse. You have the numbers. Yes, some of you are busy building careers, and that is important too, because you need money to try and support a political organization. You are not going to resort to drugs. You are going to be always legal within the bounds of the law. See, they know all these things, which is why they go about it brazenly, because it has the tacit support. Shame on United States, shame on Canada. I have nothing but disdain for some of the people who are working in the Department of State in the United States. All too bit. Anyway, so this is where things stand. I think this is the last one. This is where things stand, viewers. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll try my best to answer them. Arvind wants to know, off topic but geographically relevant, does US have something similar to Indian exit polls? How accurate have they been in the past? Everything has been compromised. China does not want Trump to come because they know that Trump is going to be bad news for them. Okay, China is turning on every lever in its control to try and make it look like this is a very closely contested election. I would urge Sachin to pull up the latest tweet by Elon Musk. Go to at Elon Musk in x.com, and he has already shown some trends of people who have 75 million, perhaps by now 80 million have already voted. And you can find out how the trend is from that. So he has published some numbers. Can we pull up that tweet? I'll continue answering this question. I can answer the next question also if you go ahead and pull up that tweet from Elon Musk's timeline. Not this one. Not this one. Just play the ad. I'll send you the. Just play the ad. I'll send you the link. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. Okay, below are the R minus D, that is Republican minus Democrats early vote deltas determines differences in swing states before tomorrow. This was published a few hours ago. Republican turnout on election day is usually much higher than Democrat. So any state currently leaning Republican in early voting is very likely to side with Trump. Pennsylvania, whilst leaning still Democrat, has a massive turnout on election day. If the same number vote in person for Trump, the same number vote in person for Trump, this time versus last, he will likely win by 500,000 votes in Pennsylvania. Now you see here, Arizona party registration, total registered voters, the R minus D, that is the differential in 2024. And then he is giving you the differential with 2020. See, you can see in all these states, Trump lost in 2020. And in all these states, now he's leading. And the last column is the percentage, 4%, 5.5%, 1.62%, 3.49%, and so on and so forth. So everything indicates a landslide win for Trump. We'll be back again in about 12 to 13 hours, live covering the elections as the counting starts. Most likely it will be like 7 a.m. India will wake up to know what is going on. I want every one of you to join and strengthen our hand, guys. This is a folded hands request because I am aghast that something that is going to affect the world in the next 4 years, this result, is being given such little attention. I know some elements are at work to try and reduce our virality, which is why I keep asking you guys, requesting you guys to like this video. Next question, please. I hope I answered your question, Arvind. Magnet Ranga wants to know, it defies logic why Canada allowed this anti-Hindu attack. It could only hurt Canada. In your opinion, what prompted to support this? Well, somebody is being held by their short hair by somebody else. Maybe it's long hair. I don't know. This guy is, people have alleged that he's a drug addict and he's got some other issues and he's divorced from his wife or he's separated from his wife. That happened a couple of years ago. A lot of problems. Personally as well as politically, Trudeau suffers from a lot of problems. A pretty face is going to get you only so far. You got to have the intellect behind it to run a country as big as Canada. Next one. Ravi K wants to know, what does US achieve by supporting this Fidel Castro? Well, we don't know about that, Ravi. I mean, certainly people have pointed to resemblances. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless you do a DNA test, you can't be sure. Let's go back to Ravi's question. What does the US achieve? US is peeved that India overrode its suggestion and kept buying oil from Russia. And not only did it do that, it refined that oil and sold it back to many Western countries, including many European allies, as well as some companies in United States, which basically gave it less control to squeeze Russia with sanctions. So they are not happy. And India will probably continue to buy Russian crude, that too in rupees. I mean, one thing that Trump can do within the first 3 months of his, getting into office is reopen the shale oil drilling in the United States and force the crude oil price to come down to $50 a barrel or even less than that. And if that happens, what happens is it takes the wind out of the sails of countries like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because they need $75 a barrel in order to keep up the allowances that they give to their people, as well as the 15,000 princes and princesses. They all get treated like royalty. They need some money. All that stuff, subsidies just vanish. So this is something that the Americans did very successfully in 1980s under Reagan. What used to happen was the USSR at that time. The USSR was completely dependent on sales of its crude from what is called as the Ural Mountains, URAL. And the US forced many of the OPEC suppliers to bring the price down of the crude in the market. You know what the price was? $13 a barrel, 1-3. In 1986, as a student, I used to pump gas 53 cents a gallon, 5-3. That summer, I had a blast because a couple of us got into a car and we toured America. I mean, it was great. because gas was so cheap. Even on a student's budget, it was very, very cheap. But Trump could reenact that now to wrest control back of black gold, which is oil. Once the US gets full control over oil, guess what? A lot of things will change. I don't know. Inflation will also come down. Will he do that? That's the question. Next one. And he doesn't need any Congress approval for that. Okay, so this is an independent news organization that is saying Republicans tied Democrats in Pennsylvania mail-in ballot return rate at 86%, narrowing an 8-point gap from 2020. Look, the average American is furious at what the Democrats have done in the last 4 years. But they are not expressing it for fear of retribution. And many of them will go and vote Republican, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what they were registered as. And if that happens, this is a landslide for Trump. This is not to say that everybody likes Trump, but it is like hold your nose and vote for Trump because he's the better choice. I'm an independent. I'm just telling you how the average voter feels. Next question, please. Maulana Kimuddin Al-Jinping. Shiji, what do you think if Pierre Poilievre comes to power? Will things improve for Hindus and Indians? In my opinion, it won't change. But you're absolutely right, Maulana. The things will not change for Indians. Need to start, organizing themselves. It's not very difficult, as a matter of fact. In fact, if all the Canadian Hindus contribute $10 a month or something like that to an organization which becomes a powerful political action committee, we have to frame it within the rules of the Canadian Constitution and then start selecting delegates to represent you. And they are strongly grounded in Hindutva. I am not going to make any bones about secularism of India. India is secular by design. We don't have to go and say that we are secular. It is secular by design. Deal with it. If you don't know, you are ignorant. That's all I can say. Everybody was a Sanatani before Jesus came along. Next one, please. Suresh Kumar wants to know, this should be taken up at human rights against Canada. The duality of West will be made known to all world. The UN organizations have been completely captured by China a long time ago. In fact, they say even Vatican is being controlled by China. Who knows? Next one. Chelsea, thank you so much. Once you analyze that all steps are in tune with like a gang leader trying to gain leverage, Hindus are just collateral. India is, as always, without any, I think you're saying help. Listen, Chelsea, this is, their water will flow from a higher level to a lower level, right? India has been doing projects here and there in terms of, going up the food chain. For example, India has been maintaining some of the US naval ships that are, navigating the seas in Indian Ocean or South China Sea and so on. And the US Navy is mighty pleased. The kind of service that was provided and so these are all new markets for India. New markets which will be there for a long time. Don't care what the Department of State is thinking or saying. They will speak with both sides of the mouth. But look at what Department of Defense is doing, Department of Commerce is doing, and what White House says officially. These are the ones that are of substance. Department of State has been captured. We know that. I've been telling this for 4 years now. It's not like once or twice. And I've been proven right every time. Next one, please. Rajat Ranaji, Donald Trump knows of what needs to be done. See, one thing about Donald Trump is he's not very predictable. He's not going to play or paint within the lines. He makes up his mind and he just goes by what he feels. The important takeaway here is do everything right, be law abiding, and do it for the benefit of humanity, not one person or the other. This is where you stand out. And I think Indian Americans, Indian Canadians, British Indians, because the British like their name to be put first. So everywhere, India is one of the highest tax base and one of the most law-abiding citizenry in the world. Show me how many people are in jails in United Kingdom or in United States that are Hindu. Next one, please. Balaji wants to know, even Pierre is not speaking a word against this Canada extremist Khalistani elements which attack Hindu temples, Hindus, and condemning it openly. Why? What reason? Vote bank? Of course, vote bank, Balaji. That's why I pointed out the one person, Maxime, is the only one, People's Party of Canada. They may not be a big number today, but at least there's one guy who feels that the truth should be coming out. Let's appreciate that. I mean, Hindus have to only organize amongst themselves. You're not going to become a critical vote bank, become a kingmaker, then you will get everything you need. Next one. Sriman says Canada is covering up Kanishka terrorist attack by Khalistanis. Why Canada is not called terrorist support country? I told you about this. India is considering moving a resolution of this nature, and then a lot of other things start falling in place. But spare a thought for the Hindus of Canada, the law-abiding Sikhs of Canada. I'm putting the KS stuff separately. That's like a minuscule minority. What is their fault? They still have ties back home. They have property back home. They like to visit. And these are a big business community also. Many of them actually, raise pulses and other things that are exported to India, that used to be exported to India. See, Canada has vast lands. Maybe you may not be able to have 3 seasons of harvest, but you can do at least 1 season of harvest, and there's a lot of land. You can get a bountiful harvest. So there are lots of other things at play. So India will think very carefully before declaring it a terrorist nation. These are all things, again, like I said, I suspect it is the United States that is behind all this thing. And then once the thing blows up, they're just going to let Canada fend for themselves, which is very unfortunate. Canada should have applied better judgment. Next one. Rishi Raj says the Rocky Mountain fossil fuel should be exploited by the United States. Why what? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, right? Trump can do this thing. First day he can sign it into law that we are going to remove all the curbs that the Biden administration put on shale processing. Next one, please. Manoj San wants to know, what's the risk deep state undermines Trump after he wins? If US deep state is firing over Canada's shoulder, then won't even Canada's conservatives be forced to obey? How can Trump stop the deep state? Well, the whole reason why, in my opinion, they try to assassinate Trump is because he doesn't listen to the deep state. So you have deep state on one end, Trump on the other side. He's not listening to them. He may eventually become part of the deep state. I don't know. Look, you have to take politicians with a pinch of salt. Okay, what you have to make sure is, keep your eyes on the ball. Don't let your eyes off of the ball. Hold them accountable and make sure that they hear when they don't do that. That is the most important thing. Next one, please. Chelsea, thank you so much. Can you list name of all countries that this clown has antagonized? That there is the leverage. You mean Canada? See, Canada is at a level where they need to deal with economies of the size of India. I mean, they won't be able to get a $2-3 billion export or a $5 billion export with smaller countries. And many of these countries are declining. Germany is flattened right now. Flattened. Their energy costs have gone through the roof. And some of the heavy engineering services that they used to provide in China is completely tanked. China is not allowing them to take out their investments. A lot of discontentment in many countries vis-a-vis how China is dealing with the foreign direct investment people who put money in there. I've talked about this also. So wait, just see what happens. If Trump comes, and I hope he comes, then a lot of things are going to change. Just give me 1 second. I have a message I need to look at. Okay, so this is all there is. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and also share this thing among your friends and relatives who happen to be knowing someone in Canada. Everyone is entitled to know the truth. Thanks once again. Namaskar.